Team, let's get going. So it's a warm one on this lovely Wednesday morning. So it certainly is a warm one. So listen to your body. Don't wait for me to say have a drink if you need to. If you need to stop, have a little rest. But it's going to be quite floor-based today, quite chilled. One, because it's warm. Two, it's the final supermoon of the year on Friday, and we'll honour the energy of the moon, which yoga dictates that we do a nice grounding practice when we're heading towards a full moon. But also because I want really to be able to move the body in a very gentle and considerate way today. And I think Tiff might have heard this quote, but this one was inspired by a podcast I listened to a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago now. It was the Happy Pair podcast with an interview with a lady called Kathy, I think her name was Barlow. I'd need to check, but she has a website and a company called Nutritious Movement. And she came up with a wonderful phrase saying that many of us are exercise rich, but movement poor. And it really got me thinking. And what she meant by that, she went on to explain, was that many of us will go to the gym maybe 3 or 4 times a week, or maybe we'll go for a walk every day, or go for a swim, or yoga, we'll do something, maybe on a daily basis. And we ticket that off on our mental to-do list, exercise done. But then we do nothing else for the rest of the day. We kind of sit, or we're relatively immobile for the rest of the day. But in our heads, we've done our exercise, so that's okay. And what she was saying was actually we're designed to move far more than most of us actually do. And that's more than just exercise. Exercise is great, she wasn't knocking it, but we need to move our bodies more. And she also talked about thinking about exercise and movement like a diet. And whilst we would no more consider a diet of kale or just potatoes or just pasta as healthy, no more should we think about doing just one form of exercise as healthy. She said we need to mix things up in order to vary the movement and get our body moving in all sorts of different ways and shapes. So that's really worth considering. So even though we might be on the floor today and not perhaps doing a full vinyasa practice, we're still going to be moving the body in lots of different shapes and ways. So hopefully you'll be able to enjoy this and still feel stretched and open, in spite of the fact it's very warm. So we're going to start lying down. Having talked about movement, we're going to start lying down. So come down onto your backs. Give your knees a good old squeeze in towards your chest and just move intuitively there for a moment. Maybe you've not slept very well because of the heat or crying little ones. So take a moment to ease yourself down onto your back. Maybe rock the knees from side to side. Maybe roll your head a couple of times. Or just ease out any kinks in the back. And then let your feet come to the floor and happily stay there. You can take your feet wide and knock your knees together. We'll go ahead and have a good stretch out through the legs. You're stretching the legs out, maybe just pick up your hips and just adjust the back of your pelvis so your tailbone stays long. I'm going to come up to seated so I can talk to you for a moment. But take a moment to get nice and settled there. And you can bring a hand onto the chest and the belly. Sometimes that's quite comforting if you've had a restless night or you're feeling a little bit discombobulated. Let your elbows just relax down to the sides of the body if you're doing that, or simply rest the arms down alongside you. Closing the eyes very gently this morning. We'll start in stillness. It's a great paradox that whilst the body benefits from movement, so the mind benefits from stillness. So take a moment to make yourself comfortable. And then begin to bring your energy and your attention more inwards now, so you become increasingly aware of your breath this morning. And as you do so, you might observe that the breath becomes different in some way. It might speed up, it might slow down. All of that is perfectly normal. Just as we shift our focus, things might change. And then once the breath is settled into a nice, steady and satisfying rhythm, just begin to observe the movement of the breath in the body. Even though we might be lying still, we can still feel the body's involuntary response to each breath. Just notice the rising and falling of your chest, the broadening and then the softening of the back of the rib cage. The expansion and then the release of your tummy, your waist. And when you closely observe the breath, you can begin to observe those more subtle responses in the body. Maybe your eyes and your jaw start to soften. Maybe your extremities, your fingers and your toes start to release a little bit. Your face maybe starts to relax. And just notice how your breath impacts. Or maybe enhances perhaps the feeling of your body on the floor beneath you. Softening on the exhale. Completely hand yourself over to the support of the ground beneath you. And as you inhale, your back body broadens, deepening that connection with the mat beneath you. So take a couple of breaths like that. Really noticing what's happening to your relationship with the floor beneath you with each breath. Staying present in your breath, present in your body throughout your practice today. So keep your eyes closed, sticking with your breath. You've got your hands on your body, just let them fall alongside you. And we'll all stretch the legs out in front of you if your knees were bent. Arms down alongside you now, lengthening fingertips down towards your heels, a bit of energy through your fingers. And try and spread your fingers nice and wide now. As you inhale, float the arms up or maybe all the way back behind you if your shoulders feel ready for that. As you exhale, lower them all the way back down alongside you. So just continue now with your breath. So inhale, float the arms up and maybe back behind you. You can widen your arms into a nice V shape if that's more comfortable. And exhale to lower. So spreading the fingers, but keep a little softness in your elbows. Try not to overarch through your back as you raise the arms. So we keep the ribcage nice and soft. And the next time you have the arms raised above your head, let's pause there. Again, just reaching back through the arms and take a little circle now of your wrists and your ankles. Maybe move your fingers and your toes a little bit. Bring some movement into those extremities there. And then around the other way. Little circles, little intuitive movement into the joints there. And then we'll come back to that delicious full body stretch. So reach the arms back. You can point your toes, you can flex your feet, whatever feels good this morning. And let's open up some space in the side body. So we're going to take your right foot over to the right side of your mat, and then bring your left foot over to join it. Now scoot your upper body over to the top right hand corner of your mat. So you've made a little C shape through the body. Maybe you can catch hold of your left wrist and bring that left arm a little further over the top of the head. Now press down into that left sit bone so you've not lifted your lower back off the floor. And try and breathe some space into the top of the left hip and all the way down the side of the left body there. And if you want a little bit more, you can always cross your left ankle on top of your right ankle. Left ankle over right ankle. Draw that left hip down and breathe deeply. So you are only breathing into your left lung space there. Banana shape on the mat. Beautiful. Let's release, come back to center. Have that lovely full body stretch, maybe a little wiggle and a jiggle. And then we'll try that on the other side. So left foot comes to the left side of your mat and the right foot comes to join it. We scoot the body to the left, maybe catching hold of your right wrist or forearm. You can bring the arm a little bit more over the top of the head. And just settle there, pressing now into your right buttock. So again, we've not rolled off the low back. You can let your head just drop, so your ear drops towards your shoulder there, and then that final little piece of the puzzle, maybe right ankle crosses on top of left ankle. And really try and breathe now into the right side of the body. And you might notice, like I'm noticing, that, oh, one side feels a little less open, a little bit more resistant. So I'm just going to soften. I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to breathe a little bit more deeply into where I feel the tension. Trying to open up a little bit of space, nice and gently. Lovely. And then slowly release. Let's come back to the center. Coming back to that full body stretch one last time. This time maybe you want to arch your back a little bit, lifting your chest, create a bit of space between your back and the floor. And then we'll lower the arms and walk your feet in towards you now. So feet are about hip width apart, your heels are close to your sit bone and your arms down alongside you. Let's start to wake up through the spine. So pressing down through all four corners of your feet. As you inhale, start to lift your hips up off the floor into a little shoulder bridge and keep it nice and low this morning. And as you exhale, ripple your way down, trying to create space through the back body. So inhale, we lift the hips, pressing into your toes. So we're not lifting the toes, we're keeping all 10 toes secure on the floor. And lower all the way down. We'll just do one more like this, then we'll start to add on. So a little pelvic tilt, and then we peel our way up, rolling up through the spine as you inhale. Keep the knees pointing forwards, and then roll your way down. You're going to do that 3 more times, but this time as you inhale and lift the hips, maybe float the arms up above your head, just as we did at the beginning. And then as you roll your way down, you bring the arms down. So we're adding the movement to the body. So inhale, reaching and lifting as you roll up. And then rolling your way down, down, down. Should we do that one last time? Oh, that feels nice. Giving your spine a little bit of a massage there. Beautiful. We'll lower ourselves all the way down. And then let's bring the right knee up and in towards your chest. Giving it a little squeeze. Just squeeze and release that right knee a few times. Just feeling a little stretch in the low back. Lovely. And then holding on around the back of the leg. Let's take the leg up towards the ceiling. Keep a little softness in the knee. Keep the shoulders nice and soft. And again, let's rotate the ankle there. Now your knee sometimes wants to take over, so we'll keep the movement in the ankle as you circle the foot one way and then round in the opposite direction. Lovely. And then push the heel up towards the ceiling. We're going to come into a little moving flow. So as you let go of the leg, we're going to lower the leg and reach the arms all the way back behind you. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, give that knee a squeeze into your chest and maybe lift your nose towards your knee. So inhale, extend out through the body, heel hovers. And exhale, give that knee a squeeze and maybe lift nose to knee. Lovely. Twice more, whatever you're doing. You can always keep your head and shoulders on the floor and just give that knee a squeeze or lifting on up. See how close you can get your nose to your knee. Anyone kiss their knee this morning? Last time. Keep the knee in towards the chest, but lower your head, lower your shoulders. And take that right leg back up towards the ceiling. But this time we're going to bend the knees so you can cross your right ankle over your left knee. Right hand to the inside of your knee. And press that knee away from you and maybe shift the weight from buttock to buttock. Have a little rock from side to side. Just creating a bit of space in the hip now. Now, if this next move proves a little bit too much for your hip, happily stay here. Or keep the ankle where it is, bring the arms down alongside you. We're going to come back into those little shoulder bridge. So as you inhale, lift the hips, maybe float the arms up above your head. And as you exhale, lower down, it requires a little bit more control. So feel that underneath leg working as you lift and lengthen, keeping that right knee open. And slowly, slowly lower down. Let's do that twice more. So if that's a little too much, you can always bring both feet to the floor and just do that little shoulder bridge sequence we did before. Let's do that one last time. So you might feel a little wibble wobbling through that supporting leg. We'll come all the way back down. Keep the ankle where it is. If it's too much, just bring both feet to the floor. And we'll all bring the arms out to the side, level with your shoulders. Now press that right knee away from you as you inhale. And as you exhale, tip the knees over to the right side. So your right knee is leading the way. Inhale to center. Exhale over to the opposite side and really try and point that right knee up and away from you. Inhale to center. over to the right. So that right foot is bringing the knee down toward the floor. Inhale through the middle and exhaling over to the opposite side, keeping that right knee pressed away from you. We're going to come all the way back through the middle. Option to stay there, bringing the right hand again onto your knee, pressing it away from you. Well, this time coming into pigeon, lifting up your head and your shoulders. You feed your hands between your legs so you can hold on around the back of your left thigh. Lower your head, lower your shoulders. And again, we're trying to keep that right knee pressed away from you as you bring your right shin a little closer in towards your chest. Relax your left heel towards your bottom, soften your shoulders, maybe close your eyes. After the movement, a moment of stillness just to feel the benefit of the stretch. Lovely. Let's release both feet to the floor. And then go ahead and pick up your left knee. We'll try all of that on the other side. It might feel a little different. So as you begin to squeeze and release the left side, we all tend to move habitually, leading with our right leg or our left leg. And that's when we build those imbalances in the body. Lovely. So keeping the knee hugged in, holding on around the back of the leg. Let's try that hamstring stretch this morning. So keep the knee nice and soft. Circle off through the foot. Keeping again the shoulders nice and relaxed, the face nice and soft as you take the ankle around the opposite way, maybe the toes, get a little wiggle there. And then we'll come into our little moving sequence again. So we're going to push the heel up towards the ceiling. Start to lower the leg as you reach both arms back behind you. Heel hovers. We'll take an inhale. Exhale, knee to chest. Maybe nose to knee. That might be a little too much, so you can always keep the head down. Inhale, extend, kick out through the heel. And exhaling, squeezing everything up to center. We do that twice more. Now remember to keep your head and shoulders on the floor this morning if that increases tension. And if you're just feeling not up to it this morning. Next time your knee comes in towards your chest, you might round on up. And then bring your head and shoulders all the way back down to the floor. Keep the knee hugged in. We're going to take the leg up towards the sky and then hook ankle over opposite knee. So left over right this time. Left hand on your knee, pressing it away from you. And if you feel that little rock from side to side, that gentle movement just brings a little bit of self-soothing to the hip and to the low back, you go ahead and do that. And you might just want to stay there this morning, or joining me in our little shoulder bridge flow. So keeping the left knee pressed down, we pressed away from you, bring the arms down. You might want to bring that right heel a little closer in towards your bottom. And as you inhale, lifting up into our shoulder bridge, you can reach the arms back and exhale to lower. So all the time, we're trying to keep that left knee pressed away. So inhale to lift. If it's too much with the arms, you can just lift the hips, that's no problem. We do that twice more. So lifting on an inhale, or squeeze the bottom and exhale to lower. Last time, inhaling up. And this time as you exhale, let's lower all the way down. If it's too much on your hips, you can always do this twist with both feet on the floor. Otherwise, keep the ankle where it is, reach the arms out to the side. Keep that knee pressed away from you as you inhale. Over to the left as you exhale. So knee leads the way, drawing the legs over to the side. Inhale through the center. Over to the right, keeping that left knee pressed up towards the ceiling. Inhale to center. Over to the left, one last time. You might be turning your head in the opposite direction to your legs. And last time, let's come over to the right. Lovely, coming all the way back through the center, uncross, bring both knees back in towards your chest, one hand on each knee, and take a little circle there. Now you can keep your hands on your knees and do that circle. If you want to begin to bring a little bit more waking up into your core, bring your arms down alongside you or even out to the side level with your shoulders. And then you just continue with that little knee circle. You might make it a little bit bigger, bringing the knees in towards the chest, over to the side, and then away from you. So whether you're guiding your knees round with your hands or going freestyle, take them round the opposite way. So obviously, if you've got your hands off your knees, you're relying on your core strength to do a little bit more of that movement for you. Lovely. Let's do one more little circle. And bringing the knees back in towards the chest, deciding how you want to come up to seated, so you can always roll to one side or hold on behind your knees and rock your way up to seated this morning. Beautiful. I'm going to sit cross-legged, but that's never compulsory. You can always stretch the legs out. You can always pop something underneath your bottom. One hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. It doesn't matter which hand. Close the eyes for a moment. Let your chin drop down towards your chest. Let your elbows release. So come to a little breath sequence called box breathing. It's really simple. We just make our inhale the same length as our exhale. So let's take a nice deep breath in together, breathing in through the nose or the mouth. And then just release the breath, exhale. The next time you inhale, start to count your breath, breathing in maybe for 2, 3, maybe more. And as you exhale, let that exhale be the same length as your inhale. So inhaling for your count, there's no magic number. And exhaling for the same count. So inhaling slowly and deeply. Obviously, the longer it takes to inhale and exhale, deeper we're breathing, the more space we're creating in the diaphragm. A few more rounds before we add some movement to that. Really lovely one to do if you're ever feeling a little frazzled or discombobulated. Let's do one last round of that box breathing. Same inhale and same exhale. And continue with that breath, but bring your fingertips down to the floor alongside you. This time as you inhale, float the arms up above your head, maybe lift your chest, your count. And as you exhale for the same count, bring the arms down and the chin to your chest. So marrying your movement with your breath, you may be moving all at different times as you raise the arms for your count of 2, 3, 4, maybe more. And then lower down, maybe dropping your chin to your chest. A couple more times, feeling that movement in the shoulders, keeping a little softness in your wrists, your elbows as you reach up towards the sky. And then float the arms all the way back down. Lovely. I'm just going to do that one last time. So inhaling up. Beautiful. Exhaling all the way down. Fingertips to floor, drop your chin to your chest. Let your breath just return to a nice steady pattern now. It might have changed a little bit. And just slowly start to roll your head from side to side, chin along your collarbones. Stretching out through the neck. And then coming to center, lifting your chin, reaching the arms up above your head, this time to interlace them and release your index fingers and point it up towards the ceiling. Draw the arms back along your ears. If that's too much for shoulders, go ahead and separate your hands. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, a little tip over to the right, keeping both sit bones grounded. Inhale through the center, over to the other side. So try to keep your chest lifted, your arms drawn back. Inhaling up and over to the right. Oh, inhaling up. That's a good side bend. Last time over to the left. And come up through the middle. And this time as we come over to the right, let your right hand fall down by your side and reach that left arm over the top of the head. Now go ahead and bend your right elbow and just let it drop in towards your waist. And then now feel the difference as you press the floor away and start to bow your ribs over to the left a little bit more. Top hand, left hand comes behind your head. Or bring your fingertips to your temple, whatever works for you. Draw the elbow back as you inhale. And as you exhale, try and close the space between your elbow and your knee. So inhale, we draw the elbow up and back. Lovely stretch of the chest. And exhale, lovely movement for the upper back as you round everything in. Inhaling up. Exhaling, elbow towards your knee. Mine doesn't quite touch. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Beautiful. Let's come all the way back up through the center. We're going to reach both arms up towards the sky. And this time, swim the hands behind you. Your fingertips can point forwards or slightly out to the side. Go ahead and lean into your hands. Roll the shoulders back. Maybe lift your chest. Get a lovely stretch across your collarbones. And then let your chin drop. Have a look at your legs. See which one is crossed in front. And then recross them the opposite way. Or keep them stretched out in front of you. So this way is probably the awkward way. We all, again, tend to move in the same planes of movement. So we're going to reach the arms up, interlace the hands. And again, interlace your hands, release your index fingers, draw the elbows back, take an inhale, over to the left as you exhale. Inhale through the middle, keep those upper arms hugging your ears. Try and keep your chin lifted as you take that little tick-tock side to side. We're not lifting the bottom. So it requires all of those little side muscles to build up a little bit of strength. Let's come all the way up through the middle, left hand this time to the floor, and we'll come into that lovely side bend. So go ahead and bend that underneath elbow. Beautiful. And now feel the difference as you start to press into your underneath hand. So you can send your ribs over to the right as you reach that top arm, over the top of the head. Top hand comes to either your temple, like you're saluting, or slot your fingers behind your head. So we're going to open the elbow, take an inhale. Exhale, close the space, elbow towards your knee. Inhale, elbow draws back. And again, you might notice, like me, that one elbow gets a little closer towards the knee than the other one. Inhale, elbow draws back. And exhale to close. Lovely. Let's do that one last time. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Let's come all the way back up through the middle, reaching the arms up. And then again, we swim the hands behind you. Fingertips can point forwards or slightly out to the side. Go ahead and lean into your hands. Pressing your fingertips down, lift your chest. Beautiful. And release. Give those legs a little shake, shake. Beautiful. And then pop your feet to one side. We'll come round onto all fours. We're going to come back to seated in a moment, but let's just again change our movement. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. And really spread your hands nice and wide so you've created space between your fingers and we're not disappearing into the shoulders. A bit of drawing up your navel to your spine to protect your back. And let's come into our lovely cat and cow. So as you inhale, the belly dips, the tailbone lifts, the chin falls forwards. Keep that pressing of your hands down. And exhale like an angry cat, rounding the back. And just roll with your breath now. Having that lovely movement up and down the spine. If your shoulders or chest feel a little tight today, just give yourself more space. Take the hands a little further apart there. Oh, it's a lovely one. So simple, but it's just so good to free up some space in the back body, especially for many of us who spend a lot of time sitting down. Lovely one just to take the spine through all of its natural curvature. And the next time you're like an angry cat with your tailbone tucked under, we'll pause there and just gently start to move your hips from side to side like you're wagging a tail. And maybe even bring your ear towards your shoulder, deepening that side bend. And then from there, come into the center, sliding your hips back towards your heels, walk your hands forwards, coming into child pose, maybe coming onto those little piano fingers where you're propped up on the tips of your fingers and thumbs. And draw your hips back as you press your fingers forwards and down. And breathe some space into the side body, feel a bit of movement of the breath in the back of the body there. And then from there, we'll come into our little floor flow. So let your hands come down to the floor, palms flat. Keeping the arms outstretched in front of you. We'll come back onto all fours as you inhale. But this time as you exhale, continue to bring your hands down onto the floor. Inhale as you come back up onto all fours. And exhale to release. Lovely. Inhale onto all fours. And exhaling, coming all the way back and down. For some reason, I lost myself there. Beautiful. So let's just come back into that child pose. For some reason, my screen disappeared. So let's all come back into child pose. And we'll do that twice more. So inhale onto all fours. Sorry, team. Exhale, come down. Technology is great when it works, isn't it? Inhale, fill your chest up. That little rippling sensation. Bottom to heels. Exhale. Last time. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. So really keep those elbows tucked in as you pick your chest up. And we'll all meet in that child pose. Lovely. Come down onto our belly. So we're going to lift the chest and then come all the way down onto your belly. Take your hands a little bit wider apart and point those elbows up towards the ceiling. So as you inhale, lift your chest, create as much space as you can between your chest and the floor. And exhale, roll your way down. Hands nice and wide to give us more space. So twice more. Trying to keep the space between your ear and your shoulder the same as we find that lovely open-hearted cobra. Pressing into the tops of the feet. Let's take one last inhale there. Lengthening the back, opening the chest. Coming all the way down, hands onto the shoulders. We'll come onto all fours. Keep your hands where they are. Tuck your toes under. Push your bottom back towards your heels. Half dog. So find that nice stretch. You maybe even want to move your hips from side to side there. So you can feel a little stretching through the balls of the feet. Happily stay on all fours or come onto all fours. Keep the toes tucked and we'll lift the hips up into a downward dog this morning. Start to pedal out through your feet. Maybe move your hips from side to side. Maybe have a shake of your head. Sometimes we think about downward dog as a very static and still pose. And let's bring a little bit of movement this morning. Lovely. And then find some stillness. Let's all bend the knees. Press your hands forwards and down and try and send your ribcage back towards your thighs. You're pushing your bottom all the way up and back. And then maybe from there you can start to sink your heels down towards the floor. Don't worry if they don't quite touch. And from there, let's do some leg lifts. You can always do this from all fours. So without changing the weight in your hands, as you inhale, float the right leg up. And as you exhale, lower it all the way down. Left leg lifts, take an inhale. And exhale to lower. One more each way, right leg lifting. You can point the toes or flex the foot or kick out through the ball of the foot, whatever feels. Create some more space in the back of the leg. Let's take the right leg all the way up this time. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to step or help that foot forwards, top of the mat. Go ahead and lower your back knee. Just sweep the arms all the way out and up. Interlace the hands above your head and free up the index fingers, just as we did before. Draw those arms back, take an inhale. Little side bend over to the right. Ooh, a little bit of balance required. Inhale, reaching up. Over to the left. One more each way, so try and keep the body nice and upright. Your chin lifted as you take that little sway from side to side. Beautiful. Let's come all the way back through the middle. And then we'll bring both hands down to the inside of the front foot. Now that back knee, that left knee, you're going to take a little pivot and just open the knee behind you. Beautiful. You can keep your right hand on the floor, or like me, bring your right elbow to rest on your thigh. Left arm, as you inhale, going to reach all the way up and back. As you exhale, bring the hand all the way back down to the floor. So you can do this with your hand on the floor or your forearm on your thigh, opening your chest as you inhale. And exhale, we'll bring both hands down. Lovely. Twice more. Inhale, like a big rainbow. You can look back towards your bum if your neck feels okay. Keep that right knee pressed open. Last time, big reach, big stretch. Beautiful. We're going to bring the hand all the way down. This time we're going to reach both arms up, opening them out like a letter T. You can keep that right knee bent or go ahead and straighten the leg out so we're coming into a gate pose. Right hand down, left arm up, take an inhale. Over the top as you exhale, keep the hips pressed forwards. Reaching up halfway, take an inhale. See if you can reach a little bit further as you exhale. Lovely. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Just pause there and see if you can press the hips forwards and really arc the body again over to the left there. You're going to reach both arms up, take an inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to walk the hands down in front of you. Now, if this proves too much on your hips, go ahead and bring both knees back underneath you. If you can, we're going to keep that right leg where it is, coming into a version of thread needle. Right arm, heels up towards the sky, take an inhale. You're going to feed it under the left as you exhale. You can always look to the left. Inhale, bring the weight forwards, take the arm up. And then we'll feed the arm through. You're probably not going quite so far, but I'm getting a nice stretch in my inner thigh. That's the bonus. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Let's take that arm all the way up one last time. And then bringing both hands back down underneath you. And take that bringing both hands down underneath you. You're going to bend your right knee and walk the hands around to frame that right foot and just spin the left foot back behind you. So we're back where we started in that lunge position, hands framing your right foot. Come onto your fingertips, take an inhale. And as you exhale, move the hips back, hamstring stretch, maybe lift the toes. Rock the weight forwards, take an inhale. And exhale, let's come all the way back. Beautiful. One last time, inhale. And exhale, finding that space and that movement with the breath this morning. We could bend the knee, plant your hands, pick up the back knee, and let's step back into your downward facing dog. Dropping back onto all fours, take an inhale, bottom to heels as you exhale. Back into our little floor flow as you inhale, come onto all fours. Exhaling down onto your belly, keep those elbows tugged in. Peel your way back up as you inhale. And bring your bottom to your heels, exhale. We're going to do that twice more. So you maybe come up with a rounded back before you unfurl yourself very tenderly onto your belly. We'll come all the way back up and all the way back down. Lovely. Last time with a little add on. Inhaling forwards, exhaling down. Pushing back onto all fours, take an inhale. Tuck the toes. Send your bottom to your heels, half dog, exhale. Maybe again, you have that little wobble of your hips side to side. And then from there, we'll find our way back onto all fours. Option to stay there, or again, join me in downward facing dog. And bring a little bit of playful movement there again, maybe bending the knees, or swinging the hips. And then again, as you find that stillness, maybe again, there's a generous bend in the knees as you press your ribcage towards your thighs. Just be mindful that your shoulders haven't suddenly shrugged up towards your ears. So be mindful of where you place your gaze, either forwards between your thumbs, the middle of your mat, or maybe drop your head and look between your heels. Find that space. Here we go with those leg lifts. Left leg leading this time. Inhale, float the leg up. And exhale, release to the floor. Other side, trying not to shift the weight between your hands as you find that space and lengthen the neck. One more each way, so rising up on an inhale and lowering back down as you exhale. We're going to do that one last time on your right leg. Beautiful. And then we're going to float the left leg all the way up. And then bring the foot all the way down, just by your hand, and we'll drop the back knee. Beautiful. I'm going to come and face you on the opposite way. So let's reach the arms all the way up, interlacing the hands above your head, and go ahead and free up your index fingers. Draw those arms back, take an inhale. Little side bend to the left, a little bit of balance. Inhale through the middle, and a sway over to the other side. We do that one more time each way. So we're trying to keep that front knee pointing forwards. Oh, a little bit of strength in the core. We'll come all the way back up. Separate your hands. Hands come to the inside of your front foot. So this time we're going to pivot on that right knee. Flick it behind you. Left hand can stay on the floor, or go ahead and rest your left elbow on your thigh. So it's the right arm that's going to move, drawing that big arc all the way up and back as you inhale. And exhale, bring your fingertips back to the floor. So if you need a little bit more height, just bring your hand up a little bit higher. Choice is yours. Let's do that twice more. So we're trying to keep that left knee pressed open. Lovely movement for the shoulder. Let's do that one last time. Big rotation, opening up. And then coming all the way down. We're ready for that gate pose. So we're going to bring ourselves up. Taking the arms out to the side, by all means, keep the knee bent or go ahead and stretch it out. Lovely, toes pointing forwards. Left hand down, right arm over the top of the head. Beautiful. Shall we move with the breath? Lift up halfway, take an inhale. Sliding down over the leg, exhale. Keep those hips pressed forward. Lovely, twice more. Inhale, reaching skywards. And then coming all the way down. Seeing if you can really bow your body over to the right this time. Last time, so we're sliding the hands down the leg. Beautiful pause. Now reach both arms up. And this time again, hands come down. So you might need to walk your hands forwards So they're right underneath your shoulder and your chest is nice and long. Bring both knees underneath you if that's uncomfortable. Left arm lifts, ready for that thread needle. Take an inhale. Feeding the arm underneath as you exhale, so you might push your hips backwards a little way. Reaching the arm up, big breath in. And all the way through. So I'm getting a nice stretch in my inner thigh. Oh, lovely. Inhale. Again, just different movements, so we're not doing the same thing all the time. Shall we do one more? It's nice to shake it up a little bit. Beautiful. Let's open the arms one last time so we get that lovely stretch across the chest. And then we'll bring the hands down. So we're going to rebend that left knee and walk your hands around to frame the left foot and just bring that right shin back behind you. So we're back where we started, over that left foot. Come onto your fingertips, take an inhale. Exhale, hips to heels, maybe pulling the toes towards your face. Rocking forward, so movement with breath, inhale. Exhale to lower back down. So your bottom isn't sitting on your heel. We're keeping the buttock roughly in line with that back knee. Lovely. We're going to rock forwards, plant your hands, pick up your back knee, step back, downward dog. Now, by all means, drop down onto all fours, or this time, inhale, roll the body forwards to plank. And as you exhale, come down onto your belly, knees lifted or lowered. Press into your hands, lift your chest, take an inhale. And exhale to lower down. Beautiful. Come back onto all fours, take an inhale. Keep your feet flat, come back into that child pose, easing into the side body. The forehead might be on the floor. If it doesn't quite reach the floor, you can always stack your hands one on top of the other or fists, so you can rest your forehead there more easily. Beautiful. And then from there, let's lift the chest. Walk your hands back towards your knees so you're sitting on your heels. You're going to drop the bottom to one side and stretch both legs out in front of you. So pop a generous bend in the knees if your hamstrings have been feeling a little tight, or even pop something underneath your bottom if you need to. Let's reach both arms up, take an inhale. And as you exhale into your forward fold, really try and keep your back nice and long, so you might be able to see yourself in the mirror, in the screen there. I'm not rounding my back, I'm thinking about bringing my chest forward. So I'm maybe not going down quite as low as I would think I have to, but I'm getting that lovely stretch through my back, creating that space. Let your chin drop down. Knowing the alternative if your hamstrings are very tight is obviously to bend your knees and wrap your hands underneath your legs there. So another couple of breaths, opening up some space. And rolling, rolling, rolling your way back up. We're going to bring your right heel in towards your bottom. And then just let that right knee open up and out to the side. So you've got the left leg stretched out in front of you. Beautiful. Reaching the arms up, take an inhale. Exhale, take that forward fold straight over your left leg. You might even be able to cross at the wrist and take hold of your foot and ease your way down if you're a little bit more open. The good thing about this warm weather is our muscles tend to give us a little bit more freedom, a little bit more flexibility in the warmth and the heat than they will do when they're cold. If that's not happening, you can bring the hands far up the leg, it's no problem. Beautiful. Let's come all the way back up through the middle, keeping that right heel where it is. Let's take that left leg a little bit further out on a diagonal. So you might need to move your hips a little bit, bring that heel in a little bit closer so you can sit yourself up nice and tall. Left hand on your thigh, your shin, or some of you might be able to hook your big toe with your first two fingers. Let's reach the right arm up and come over the top of the head, but we're going to keep that movement going. So we're going to draw the elbow back, coming into a little cactus arm. Take an inhale and exhale, reach over to the side. So inhale, we draw the elbow back and exhale, coming into that side bend. Lovely. Let's try that one more time. Inhale, lifting up. This time as you exhale, we'll pause and hold. So if that top arm really isn't working for you today, go ahead and wrap it behind your lower back and just draw the shoulder back. You've got the arm extended, make sure you're keeping your chest lifted. Beautiful. Let's Let's come all the way back up. And then take a little twist here. So bring your left hand onto your right knee and just bring the other hand, your right hand, just behind you. See if you can keep the toes of that left foot up towards the ceiling. You come into a nice little twist. And then come back through the middle. You're going to come into a zigzag leg. So you're going to lean into your right buttock and see if you can bring that left shin just behind you. So both knees are bent. Right shin parallel to the top of your mat. Beautiful. You're going to bring the right hand down to the floor and just look over your left arm as you reach out to the side. Beautiful. Thumb up towards the ceiling. Now reach that left arm all the way across the body. You can maybe lift your left buttock off the floor so you see you're getting a nice stretch out through the side body. And now try and bring your left buttock down as you reach out to the side. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, try and roll that left hip forwards, lift your buttock. Beautiful. And then plug that left buttock down as you reach out to the side. Lovely. One more time. Reaching across. And then sweeping the arm out to the side. Option to stay there, or this time lift the hips up as you reach the arm up and back. And then lower the hips, reaching out to the side. Lovely. Twice more. So either keeping your bottom down or getting that lovely stretch in the front of the hip. The choice is yours. We do that one more time. I love this one. It's such a delicious stretch. Lovely. Let's come all the way down. This time we're going to twist in the opposite way. So your right hand is coming across to your left thigh or knee, wherever it reaches. Other hand behind you. So we're sitting up nice and tall again, trying to sit up nice and evenly through your buttocks. As you twist the body the opposite way now. Beautiful. Let's slowly come back to center. You can bring the hands behind you, lean into your hands very carefully with the knees. Give the legs a little shake, shake. And we'll try that on the other leg. So first of all, it's the left knee that comes up and in. So if this is too much on your hip, you can always pop something underneath your knee to support it, or even keep both legs extended and enjoy a forward fold again. Reach the arms up, take an inhale. And as you fold forwards again, there's always the option to cross at the wrists and ease your way down. You might have your hands higher up your leg rather than around your foot, but the choice really is yours. Send your way down. Try and keep your chest square over that right thigh this time. Lovely. We'll walk our way back up. So this time we'll keep the heel where it is, but we take that right leg a little further out on the diagonal there. So you might need to readjust so you can sit up nice and tall. Right hand on thigh, shin, or maybe your first two fingers can reach for your big toe. So it's important to keep the chest lifted. So if your chest is rolling forwards, give yourself a little bit more space by bringing the hand higher up the leg. Let's take that top arm over the top of the head. Ready for that little cactus. So we're going to draw the elbow back, lifting up, take an inhale. And then exhale, stretching over. So inhale, we release. And exhale, we stretch. Beautiful. Should we do that one more time? Inhale. And exhale. So as we pause and hold this time, remember that you can always get rid of that top arm if it's a little bit too much on the shoulder. But we're keeping the chest lifted as we reach that arm over the top of the head again. Lovely stretch for the side body. Lovely. We'll come all the way back up, ready for that little twist. So right hand comes to your left knee or thigh, wherever it reaches. Keep the toes pointing up towards the ceiling as you take that little twist round to the left. Oh, that's a good one there because we feel a little bit in our inner thighs as well. Lovely. Slowly, slowly come back to center. So this time we lean into our left buttock and you hook your right knee back behind you. So the temptation is that we kind of lean into the left sit bone. So we're trying to plug that right sit bone down. Left hand comes down. So this time we reach the right arm out to the side. So I'm really pressing my right sit bone down. And now I lift it up as I reach forwards on the diagonal. So I'm opening up in the hip. And then as I reach out to the side, I reconnect sit bone to floor. So reaching over, you can inhale. And exhale. Oh, the breath works the other way. It's a Pilates move. So the breath is always back to front to me in Pilates, but just keep breathing on me. Beautiful. Should we do one more? You might notice again that one hip feels a little tighter than the other. So if that's the case, you can keep with this, or we make it bigger, lifting the hips up as you reach the arm up. And then we bring both sit bones back down, reaching out to the side. And again, reaching up, so you're pushing the hips gently forwards as you arc the body backwards. Beautiful. Should we do that one more time? Oh, lovely. Let's come all the way down. Ready for that little twist in the opposite direction. So keep the balance on your sit bones. Left hand is the hand that comes around the body this time. So you're twisting the body to the right. Oh, this side feels harder for me. Lovely. Let's come all the way back through the middle. Bring the hands behind you so you can stretch your legs out in front of you. And then we're going to draw both feet in towards you. Let me turn around to face you there. Soles the feet together. Now you can always take your feet further away from you to create more space if your hips feel very tight. So hands on your shins or your ankles. And for a moment, pull up from your hands. So you'll really feel that your arms are straight and you're lifting your chest. Now try and drop the knees open, but we're keeping that lovely length through the back body. Let me turn around on the side so you can see what I mean. So I'm not rounding here. I'm sitting up nice and tall, even if that means taking my feet further away and bringing my hands a little bit higher up the leg. So option one, we stay here, nice upright spine. We'll begin to hinge forward. So you can see I'm leading with my chest or my chin. Again, I'm not rounding, I'm lengthening forward. So I might not come forwards very far. Your elbows might be pressing on your knees. They might not get there, that's fine. And if your hips are quite open, you might release your hands in front of you, coming up onto tips of fingers and thumbs. And that's when we allow the back to round. We're keeping the knees pressed open there as we come into that little cobbler's pose. So wherever you are, just feel a nice stretch in the hip. Lovely. And then slowly, we'll roll the fingers back towards you. Bring your hands to the outside of your knees. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Cross one ankle over the other. And give yourself a nice big hug. Well done, team. Beautiful. And then keeping the feet on the floor. Ease your way down onto your back. Walking your heels quite close in towards your bottom there. So again, we've got the feet planted. We're pressing down through all four corners of your feet. Keep the arms down along the side of the body now as we roll our way up into that shoulder bridge. Now, option one, we just roll up and down with your breath, just as we did at the beginning. Or hold with me in that shoulder bridge now, and maybe even walk your hands underneath you so you can interlace the hands. Press your little fingers down and see if you can lift your hips up. Have a little peep at the front of the body and just check that the hips are level there. I've noticed that one of mine was going a little bit skew-wiffy there. So we'll squeeze the bottom, keep the toes pressing down, the chin is tucked in towards your chest. Lovely. And then from there, release the hands down alongside you. Maybe come up onto the tiptoes, lifting your heels if that feels good. Maybe keep your heels lifted as you roll your way down through the spine. And bring those knees in towards the chest, give them a hug, and have a little rock side to side. Now, option one, you keep the knees where they are. If your back is felt a little tight today, go ahead and bring your feet back down to the floor. As you bring the arms out left to right, just take care that your knees haven't dropped away from your chest there. Keep them hugged in. As we drop both knees over to the right side. And you can either keep them hugged up towards your chest or slide your feet further away. Go ahead and slide the shoulder blades out from underneath you so you're nice and broad in your chest. Maybe even bring your right hand down onto the top knee. And reach that left arm a little further away from you as we come into one final twist there. And when you're ready, release both arms. See if you can use the inhale to bring those heavy levers of your legs back to your chest and then over to the opposite side. Again, the higher the knees are to your chest, the deeper the rotation in the spine. So adjust accordingly, maybe looking over your backhand, maybe that left hand, bringing the knees down a little further, but we're not forcing that. Breathing into wherever you feel that rotation, that movement in the spine. And releasing, bringing the knees back in towards your chest. Giving those knees a hug. You can have your hands on your knees. You might wrap your forearms around your shins and have a little roll, or maybe bring your nose up towards your knees there, whatever feels good. And then slowly release, either coming back to feet on the floor, knees bent, your inner knees propped against each other, or go ahead and re-extend the legs. I'm going to come up to seated again so I can talk to you. So make whatever movements you need there to be as comfortable as you can. Again, a hand on your chest, a hand on your belly can feel quite comforting if you need that this morning. Settling down into that nice, safe space that you've created for yourself this morning. Take a moment to just become aware of your body, feeling the weight of the body begin to soften and accept the floor beneath it, the support. Just bring your awareness back to your breath. You might notice that the breath feels a little different at the end of a practice than it did at the beginning of a practice. Maybe you're simply just more aware of it within the body. Feeling your chest and your belly as they expand and open. And the body softens back inwards as you exhale. And if it's comfortable for you this morning, maybe see if you can begin to slightly deepen each part of your breath. Nice, slow, deep inhalation. And a nice, slow, deep exhalation. Just beginning to send that message to your body and your brain to soften, to let go. As you to relax, just sense the grounding of every part of your body resting on the floor, surrendering to gravity. You make your chest and your belly even softer now. Take your awareness to your forehead. Find a nice smoothing sensation, releasing any signs of thought, worry or concentration. Creating space just between your eyebrows. Softening your eyebrows, softening your temples, your eyelids, your cheeks, through the sides of the jaw and even into your chin. Soften your lips, whole face, feeling soft and spacious. Just noticing anywhere in your body where you might be holding onto a little bit of tension this morning. Just use your next out breath to send that feeling of softening to that part of your body. Nothing else to do, nowhere else you need to be. Resting here on your mat. enjoying a moment of rest and stillness in the midst of this busy and noisy world that we inhabit. No sense of urgency. See now if you can begin to deepen your inhalation, that part of our breath that helps to revitalize and re-energize us, ready for the rest of our day. Again, with no sense of hurry, just begin when you're ready to bring some gentle movement back into your body. Maybe it's a simple roll of the head from side to side. The wiggle of your fingers and your toes this morning. Circle of your wrists, your ankles. If you've got your knees bent, then feel free to stretch the legs out, and maybe you want a full body stretch this morning, keeping it nice and soft as you enjoy that last movement of reaching the arms back. Maybe a little bit of intuitive movement there, reaching into one side of the waist and then the other. Before we all bring the arms down, and go ahead and guide those knees back in towards your chest, one at a time. And again, it might be a time to move, to rock, to circle, or it might be a time just to stay still. And wherever you are, just roll onto one side, wherever there's space this morning. And then join me in a seated position when you're ready. Lovely. So I'll leave you with one last thought from this lovely lady who gave the talk on the podcast, and it's maybe one that I've been thinking about. She said, be mindful of your posture, because your posture will become your habit. So true, isn't it? So let's find that lovely length through the spine, try and keep it there for at least the next 5 minutes. Let's reach both arms up, one final deep breath in as you lengthen. And as you exhale and bring the hands down to your heart, your chin to your chest, just thanking one another for all of that lovely movement you've done this morning. And namaste, thank you for coming. I hope that wasn't too hectic in the heat. There we go.